Hey everyone, welcome. Today we are diving deep into a completely fascinating psychological concept that basically dictates how we as human beings communicate and connect with each other. We're going to break down this incredible source material to uncover the hidden underlying mechanics of everyday conversation. If you've ever felt, ignored, talked over, or like your advice just goes in one ear and right out the other, well, this explainer is exactly what you need. Let's get into it.
Now, have you ever noticed this happening to you? You explain the exact same thing to someone 5 times, literally 5 times, and they just don't listen? They totally ignore you? But then, out of nowhere, someone else comes along, says the exact same thing, and suddenly they're nodding along and agreeing. I mean, why does that happen? Are they smarter? Are they more confident? Is their personality just kind of more attractive? Well, not necessarily. It actually boils down to this massive psychological blind spot that most of us fall into every single day without even realizing it.
Section 1. The WIIFM Principle. How the human brain filters information. Okay, so picture this. You're sitting in a lecture, right? You're paying full attention. Suddenly your phone vibrates with a text from a friend, and instantly your brain just hijacks your focus. Why does it do that? It's all because of this core mechanism right here, the WIIFM Principle. WIIFM stands for What's in it for me. You see, the human brain is constantly running this filter in the background. It's exactly why you can hear your own name from all the way across a noisy, crowded room, or why you remember your own embarrassing moments vividly, but completely forget everyone else's. So the takeaway here? If you want someone to genuinely listen to you, you absolutely have to stop asking, "What do I want to say?" and start asking, "What does this mean for them?"
Section 2. The U-shift in action, contrasting our bad habits with psychological targeting. Let's look at this in real life. Imagine you tell a friend, "Hey, exercise is important, you should really hit the gym." They'll probably brush it off, right? Like, yeah, I'll start tomorrow. And we all know tomorrow never comes. But what if you shifted the focus? Let's say you know they've been complaining about being totally exhausted after their college classes. So instead you say, "Hey, you mentioned you're always completely tired after college, right? What if just a little daily exercise could actually fix that energy drop?" Boom. Suddenly you aren't lecturing them about exercise anymore, you're talking about solving their specific personal problem. The psychological effect of that tiny little shift is just massive.
And this brilliantly illustrates our next point. Let's imagine you're selling a laptop. The standard, generic approach is to just rattle off specs. This laptop has 16 gigs of RAM and a powerful processor. Now, most people are going to hear that and just think, okay, so what? But what if you say, because this has 16 gigs of RAM, you can run VS Code, your browser, and your database all at once without your system ever slowing down? Do you see the difference there? You are selling the personal benefit. You just transformed a super generic feature into a custom solution for their specific daily workflow. Because here's the secret. Active listening is the absolute key to effective speaking. Let's say a friend confides in you that they want to be more confident when public speaking. If you just give them this generic advice like, "Hey, just improve your communication," it falls totally flat. It means nothing. But if you use their exact words back to them, something like, "You mentioned wanting confidence in public speaking, right? Maybe try speaking to a camera for 2 minutes a day." That is a complete game changer. Pointing out and repeating their exact words proves that you are genuinely listening, which builds immense, immediate trust.
Moving on to Section 3. The magic of asking the right questions and unlocking deeper conversations.
So, to actually transform this abstract psychology into real-world action, we have got to completely abandon generic small talk. Think about the ultimate boring question. What do you do? We've all heard it a million times, and the answer? It's usually just a flat, one-word job title. Boring, right? But what if you simply ask, "What's the most interesting part of your job?" Instantly, you upgrade the entire depth of that conversation. Or instead of asking, "How was the movie?" try asking, "What scene from the movie stuck in your mind the most?" Just a slight modification in the question completely shifts the quality of the answer. It makes the person feel truly engaged and excited to answer you.
Section 4. The 3-step formula. This is your practical checklist for everyday communication.
All right, here's the core framework you can apply immediately to literally any conversation. Step 1. Listen. You've got to find out what they actually care about before you ever start pitching your own ideas. Step 2. Connect. Link your point directly back to their goal, their problem, or their interest. And step 3. Ask. Let them share their opinion. So think about trying to get a friend to study with you. If you just demand, "Go study," they're going to completely ignore you. But if you listened earlier, you know they really want better marks this semester. So you connect it. You say, "Hey, you said you wanted to improve your marks, right? Let's just study for 30 minutes to knock out one topic. Then you ask, how does that sound? You aren't forcing them. Instead, you're guiding them using their own internal motivation. It works like magic.
Section 5. The anti-manipulation pivot, or what I like to call the biggest mistake.
Now, I need to drop the energy for just a second and talk about something very serious here. Please do not use this psychology merely as a cheap trick to manipulate people or just as a tactic to bide time while you wait for your turn to speak. Genuine empathy is absolutely required. For example, when someone tells you they had a terrible day, our instinct is to jump right in with, "Me too! Oh my gosh, let me tell you about my terrible day." Don't do that. Skip the "me too." Instead, just ask, "What happened next?" When someone shares a problem, they usually aren't looking for your advice, and they definitely aren't looking to hear a story about how the exact same thing happened to you. They just want to feel heard. Giving them that space is incredibly validating.
So, because of that, here is my 24-hour challenge to you. I want you to try this for just one day. Ask one extra genuine question today. When someone shares a new goal with you, ask them why. When they have a bad day, ask what happened. And most importantly, vigorously suppress that urge to make the conversation all about you. I promise you, you will be completely surprised by the incredible, rich stories people carry around with them when they are simply given the floor to speak.
Finally, Section 6. What is true charisma? Uncovering the reality of true magnetism.
We often have this lingering myth in our heads that charisma requires being the loudest, the funniest, or maybe the most physically attractive person in the room. The myth is walking into a room and thinking, how do I make them notice me? How do I impress everyone here? But the reality of genuine charisma, it's walking into a room and thinking, how do I make other people feel noticed? True psychological power isn't about controlling people or bending them to your will. Not at all. It's about understanding them, being genuinely curious, and making the conversation deeply meaningful for them.
And this brings us right to the core message of this entire explainer. Simply make people feel heard. Real charisma is not about making them notice you. It's about making them feel noticed. If you can master this simple shift from me to you, I'm telling you, it will change your friendships, it will change your career, and it will change your life. So ask yourself, in your next conversation, will you be listening or will you just be waiting for your turn to speak? If you realize you just learned a completely life-changing communication trick today, drop down to the comments and type the word understood. Thank you so much for exploring this source material with me. Take these tools, go make someone feel noticed today, and I'll see you in the next one.